Every time I'm at the grocery store, I just can't believe the prices of everything. So today I will be sharing 5 new dinners with you that cost only about $5 each. These dinners are very affordable, but they do not taste cheap at all. These dinners are full of flavor and nutrients. Let's get to my kitchen and let's get started. Here's some of the items that I am buying today to stay on budget. I was going to grab this bag of Knorr taco rice, but I saw this bag of like great value Spanish rice next to it. It has the same amount in it for a lower price, so I'm going to try this bag out today. I'm excited about it. While I'm on the rice aisle, I am going to be picking up 2 bags of regular long grain white rice. I've been loving cheese a lot recently, so I am going to be adding 2 8-ounce blocks to my cart. I wasn't originally going to grab this sausage because it would have put me over budget, but I was just walking down the aisle and I saw this great value chicken sausage for $1 less than that turkey sausage, which is a big money savings, so I am going to be trying this out. I have a delicious pasta recipe in mind for this bag of penne pasta, and while I'm down the pasta aisle, I am going to be putting a box of regular macaroni and cheese in my cart. The regular box has more macaroni and cheese in it per ounce than the spirals, so that is why I went with just the regular box today. Now a simple can of chicken will really stretch, so I'm going to be grabbing this. There's quite a bit of bacon in this little 2.5-ounce bag, and I did see that they have a reduced sodium one, so I'm going to be trying the reduced sodium one this week. As you see, the regular can of Rotel is $1.36 per can, which is kind of a lot of money, but the store name brand is under $1. A lot of the time you will save so much money by simply going with like this store name brand, like Kroger, for example, or Great Value, or anywhere else you shop at. Now to start our recipes out, the first one we are making this week is the smoked sausage macaroni and cheese. So I'm beginning by slicing my sausage into half moons. Over to this pot of boiling water on my stove, I'm adding in the macaroni, and I'll cook it according to the package instructions. Now over to this large pan on my stove, I'm adding a tablespoon of olive oil in there. Once my oil was hot, I added the sausage in, and cook your sausage for about 4 minutes on each side, or until it is like golden brown on the outside. That will give the sausage so much added flavor. Now I'm adding in my 12-ounce bag of frozen broccoli along with my seasonings, just a teaspoon of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika, but you could use any seasonings that you have on hand or that you love. Give this a stir, and you are going to let this simmer on a low heat covered for about 10 minutes, stirring it occasionally until the broccoli is tender. Now over to the macaroni. Now that it is cooked through, I am just going to strain it, and this has been my favorite strainer recently. It just clips onto the side of the pot and it is so easy to use. It's also super easy to clean. But now I'm going to add in the cheese packet that came with the macaroni, along with a little bit of milk and butter. If you don't have milk or butter on hand, you could definitely skip the milk and butter and this will still turn out. Now add that macaroni into the broccoli and the sausage. Give it a good stir, and then you could serve it up. This is such a great, easy, affordable, filling meal that basically comes together in just one pan almost. And the chicken sausage was absolutely delicious. It is definitely worth the money savings. The broccoli adds nutrients, and my family just really enjoyed this. It was so good. Now we're making this taco rice, so to my Instant Pot, I'm adding in my 1-pound bag of uncooked white rice. Just add it into your Instant Pot along with some water. If you don't want to cook your rice in the Instant Pot, you could always cook your rice just in a large pot on the stove. That will work super well. But while my rice is cooking away in my Instant Pot, I am going to shred my 8-ounce block of cheddar cheese. Just shred it up. Now that my rice is tender, over to a large pot on the stove, I'm adding that rice right in there. Next, you're going to add in 1 drained and rinsed can of black beans, then add in your can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, followed by a diced yellow onion, then add in about 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Give this a really good stir and let everything cook together for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Now stir in the cheese, and once the cheese gets melty, you could serve this up. You could serve it however you choose to do so. We topped ours with some toppings that I had on hand. We topped it with a little bit of salsa, sour cream, guacamole, and a little bit more cheese. This is so good. I actually made so much of it that we had it for leftovers the next day, and it tasted just as good the next day. You could also freeze this too if you'd like to. Now we're making these red chili enchiladas, so to get them started to this pot on my stove, I'm adding in my packet of Spanish rice. Just cook it according to the package instructions on the stove. So add in your water and let it simmer. Once the rice is cooked through, you are going to add in 1 can of refried beans. I'm using the low-fat refried beans, but you could use any type of refried beans that you like. Then I'm adding in my seasoning, so I'm adding in a teaspoon of chili powder and a teaspoon of cumin. Give this a really good stir and stir the ingredients to combine. Over to my 9x13 baking dish, I'm spraying it with nonstick spray. Then fill each tortilla with the rice and bean mixture. Then roll it up. I made a total of 7 enchiladas. Nobody wants to eat a soggy tortilla, so I'm going to be spraying the top of my tortillas with a little bit more oil spray. Then I'll bake this in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. This will make it so the tortillas don't just absorb the enchilada sauce and get super soggy. But now I'm pouring a 10-ounce can of red enchilada sauce over the top. I'm just brushing the enchilada sauce on the tortillas so the tortillas get coated. Bake this for 10 more minutes and then you could serve it up. Here's what they look like out of the oven, and here's my plate of food. We topped ours with a little bit of cheese and sour cream. My husband seriously had thirds of these enchiladas. They were that good, super delicious. The tortillas were not soggy. They held their structure, and the filling inside was surprisingly absolutely amazing. You need to try these. They're budget friendly and so good. Now we're making this tomato bacon pasta, so to get it started, I have my 1 zucchini right here. I just cut it into half moons. Over to this pot of boiling water, I'm adding in my pasta. I'll cook it according to the package instructions. While my pasta is cooking away, over to this pan on my stove, I'm adding in a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I'm adding in my zucchini that I cut up. I'll let this cook on my stove for about 5 to 7 minutes or until the zucchini is golden brown on the outside. This will give the zucchini added flavor. Now I'm adding in a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, then a teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder. Next, add in a 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. The petite diced tomatoes are my favorite compared to the regular diced tomatoes. Now I just added in my 2.5-ounce bag of bacon bits. Give this a really good stir. Then I remembered I forgot to add in 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, so I just added that in. Let this simmer on your stove covered for about 5 to 10 minutes, then stir in the cooked pasta. Now you could serve it up. This pasta seriously tastes like $1 million. It does not taste like it is super budget friendly and affordable. It is so good. The flavors are out of this world. The zucchini adds a nice crunch. The bacon adds a rich flavor. It really is so wonderful. Now we are making this cheesy chicken, broccoli, and rice. So to my Instant Pot, I'm adding in my 1-pound bag of white rice. I'm also adding in water, and I'm going to just cook this rice in my Instant Pot. But as usual, if you don't want to use your Instant Pot to cook your rice, you could cook it in a large pot on the stove. Now that my rice is tender, I am going to set it to the side. Over to my large pot on the stove, I added in a tablespoon of olive oil. Once my oil was hot, I added in my drained can of chicken. Cook the chicken in your pot for about 3 minutes. This will give the chicken added flavor. Now I'm adding in a 12-ounce frozen bag of broccoli along with a 10-ounce can of cream of chicken soup. For the seasonings, I'm adding in a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, then 2 teaspoons of paprika and 2 teaspoons of oregano, but you could always use different seasonings if you would like. Give this a stir and let this simmer on your stove covered for about 7 to 10 minutes, stirring it occasionally. Now that my broccoli is tender, I'm adding the cooked rice right into my pot. Next, you're going to add in 8 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese. Give this a stir, let the cheese melt, let everything get well combined together, and then you could serve this dinner up. I topped mine with a little bit more cheese and pepper. This is such a flavorful, easy dinner to throw together. It has simple ingredients. A lot of these ingredients are like considered to be like pantry staples, but this is a really delicious, affordable dinner. I have so many more videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, my friend.